Hey guys, and welcome back to the Coder's Legacy channel. In this video, we'll take a look at the Python Pyinstaller library. The Pyinstaller library is a really great library in Python that's used to generate EXE files out of Python source code files, also known as .py files. Okay, so why would you want to create an EXE in the first place? Well, let's say you're distributing your application to your customers, to your clients, and you want them to be able to run your code. Okay, now you can't just give them the .py file and expect them to run it. Okay, the reason for that is that when you are coding, chances are it's very likely that you used some external libraries. Okay, you must have used something like Pillow maybe, okay, like I have over here. Pillow is a library in Python that's used for image processing, and I actually used it in this code. So the thing is, if I was distributing this application to someone, okay, if I just gave him the .py file and he ran it, it's going to throw an error. Okay, the reason for that is that he doesn't have Pillow. I downloaded Pillow using pip. I used the pip install pillow command and I actually downloaded the library, but my client doesn't have that library. So what do we do about this? And that's actually what EXEs are. EXEs are, a machine code representation of the program, and they contain all the necessary data. They contain all the necessary functions and all of that. So if you create an EXE version of this file, of this Python file, it's basically going to have all that data. Okay, all those necessary functions, all the functionality that the Pillow library brings. It's all going to be condensed into that EXE. So when we give it to the customer, to our client, he has that library then. It's a portable library. So yeah, that's kind of what an EXE is. Okay, again, you can study more on EXEs because they're really. So yeah, that's basically what an EXE is. Okay, so let me teach you guys today how to use Pyinstaller. Alright, so normally you would set up Pyinstaller using pip install Pyinstaller. This is what you would normally do, but I'm not going to recommend this actually, because this will give you the version for Pyinstaller that has a bug in it. There's a slight issue in there, there's an error in there that when you generate the EXE file, it might not work. And this is something that I've also faced, and I know that several other people online also faced. There's actually issue opened up on GitHub. You can check it out over there if you search up for it. And there's a solution to it that I'm going to share with you right now. Okay, basically you need to download the developer's version for Pyinstaller because that works. This is the command. Okay, it's still pip, but we're downloading the Pyinstaller version from the developer branch. Okay, so this works. Okay, and this is the version that I currently have installed, and I'm going to show you that it actually does work. Okay. Alright, so let's discuss Pyinstaller and some of the various options that it has. You write Pyinstaller, then the format for adding an option is that you do 2 dashes, and then you write the name of the option. The first option we'll discuss is one file. What one file does is generates only one EXE. Okay, if you don't include this, it gets generated in its default format, which is one directory, and it generates a folder, and that folder has like 100 or so different files, smaller files, and those each represent different libraries, different files and stuff that you used, okay, that were involved in the process, the packaging process, okay, because Pyinstaller packages all those libraries that your client will need, right? So yeah, one file will generate all of that, compile all of that into one big file. Now you may want this, you may not want it, okay, it's up to you, the way you prefer it. Both of them have an EXE, don't worry, okay? It's just that one file's EXE is a lot larger, okay? One more thing I feel obligated to mention is that one file may work in some scenarios where one directory doesn't, okay? Some people have reported that one file actually works for them in certain scenarios, but one directory doesn't. So that's just something to keep in mind. So if you're ever in a scenario where your code isn't working for some reason, your EXE isn't running, try compiling it in one file and see if it works. Okay, just a little tip. Anyways, so what are the other options that we have? We have no console. What no console does is disables the console. whenever you run a Python exe, or any exe actually, I think, if you've ever executed C++ and C exes, you would know that a console window pops up, right? Same thing happens with Pyinstaller. You click on an exe generated by Pyinstaller and it'll bring up a console window, regardless of whether you are actually displaying anything on that console window or not. Okay, so in an application like this, where I'm using Tkinter, I'm not relying on the console for anything. I want to disable the console, because otherwise, if I compile this program of mine, this current program, without this option, without including this option, what's going to happen is that both the GUI window will pop up and the console will pop up, and it's going to look weird. Okay, the user will get confused, like, why is the command prompt popping up? Okay, so if you don't want to use the command prompt, if you have a simple program, a script that doesn't need to display anything, or if you have a GUI interface like I have here in my program, then you want to include this option. Okay, other than this, what do we have? There's add data, but is there anything else we need to discuss before this? Let me just review this real quick. Yeah, add data is the last one I have to discuss. Okay, right, so add data, hold on. Add data, the way you use it, or what it's used for, is to bring in or link in additional files. Okay, for example, you have a game and you want to use some images, because obviously for a game you have image files, text files, textures, and sound files. You want to include them, okay, in your compilation. You need to tell Pyinstaller that you have this file, you're using this file, your exe is using that file, because if you don't do this, then it's going to cause a lot of problems, trust me. Okay, Pyinstaller is going to, the exe, when you click on it, it's going to say, hey, there's an error over here because this file path that you mentioned, this file path for that image, this file path for that sound, I don't know where that is. That's what Pyinstaller is going to do. So you need to include this option. You need to tell Pyinstaller that I have this image and I want to use it. I have this folder and I want to use it. Okay, you need to tell Pyinstaller that. So the way to use this is that you specify the full path, like D VS Code programs in my case, and then I do where is it, tutorials, then auto py, and then the name of the file. Okay, you can also use directories in this manner, by the way. So if I do this, my image file has now been included. Pyinstaller will include my image. So I'm going to try and compile this now, and hopefully everything should work out. I'm going to use no console, and let's see what happens. Okay, this might not work because well, we'll see. Okay, I'm going to run this now, and this is actually going to take some time, okay, because Pyinstaller is a bit slow. Hold on. Okay, I know what I did wrong. I made a silly mistake, and let me just redo this. Okay, so I'll do Pyinstaller, then I'll do no console, then I'm going to do add data, then I'll include the file path, which is going to be D VS Code programs, then I'm going to do tutorials, then I'm going to do auto py. Now here's the important part. You write the file name cat loaf.jpeg, then you do semicolon, then you add a dot, then you close it. Okay, and then I forgot last time to include the semicolon and the dot, and I also forgot to write the name of the file, pil image tk.py. Okay, and I'll actually tell you a solution for this. You may think this is really dumb, right? Having to write out so much stuff in the console like this, it's just cumbersome and annoying. I'll tell you a solution for this in a minute. Let me just run this right now, and okay, it's beginning to execute. Okay, so this is going to take a while, so I'll just resume this video after the compilation is complete. Okay, alright, so here we are, it's done. You see all these stuff over here, successfully done, compiled, writing, moving, whatever. And by the way, you might notice some things here like errors and stuff. Let me just scroll through this. It might say something, yeah, not found, not found, not found, not found. Okay, don't worry about that. It's a bit hard to explain. Maybe we'll elaborate more on Pyinstaller in a later video on what's really going on in the background. Okay, I'll have some links because I plan to make a lot of Pyinstaller content. So yeah, do check the description. Okay, so yeah, we'll talk more about that later. Anyways, let me just go over to our folder, AutoPy, and here you can see our Python file. That's our Python image. Sorry, not Python image, it's our JPE image. Now we have two directories over here. Okay, I'm not sure what that one's used for exactly. Okay, but this one, dist, I think is distribution. Okay, this is the folder that you would go around distributing. Now watch, you see all these files, those are some Python files. Here are some DLLs, dynamic link libraries, and yeah. Okay, this is what the regular option does. If you used one file would compress all of this down into one exe. Okay, now whether you want that or not, that's up to you. Oh, there's our takinter, by the way. We can see takinter over here because it's packaged takinter into it. And there's pillow, because you can see that it's downloaded the pillow library and it's included it. So when your client gets it, he will have it with him. Okay, it's portable. You don't need to install it on his computer. You just need to give him this folder and that's it. That's it. You're done. Okay. Anyways, okay, so this is our exe over here. And by the way, look, there's our image. See, because we linked it, because we told Pyinstaller that we are using that image included in the folder. Okay, so it brought that image here. Or actually, it made a copy of it. Obviously, it didn't move it. So let me actually run this and show you that it works. I'll just double click this and there we go. Our takinter application is working. Okay, so yeah, with this we're kind of done, and I just showed you how to compile an exe. Now you can take this, you can give anyone this file, and it's going to work on his computer. Regardless of where he puts it, he can put it anywhere on his computer. It doesn't matter which file path it's on. You can give it to anyone who, like whether he has Python or not on his computer, anyone. And this is gonna work. At least, hopefully, it should. Alright, so yeah, that's Pyinstaller for you. That's how it works, and we can see the benefits of it. Okay, great. So I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you guys subscribe to the channel. Leave some feedback. Let me know if there's anything else you're interested in. Oh, and by the way, there's something I mentioned earlier that I'll tell you a solution on how to avoid writing out so much content, how to avoid writing out this entire statement. And for that, I recommend you check out my video on AutoPy2exe. That's a Python library that provides you with a GUI interface to Pyinstaller. Okay, that library allows you to just press a few buttons here and there, and that's it. You're done. It'll use Pyinstaller in the backend, but just make everything much easier on you. Okay, and another thing I need to mention is that there are a few issues that might occur with Pyinstaller. You might run into those problems. I actually have a separate video where I discuss all of these solutions to these various problems. So yeah, do check that out. It'll be in the description below. Okay, so yeah, with that, let's end the video. Hopefully I'll see you guys in a later one.